Welcome back. We're having a conversation over issues surrounding Kaduna State's initiative idea to merge 359 schools and then relocate them over insecurity. With us this morning, we got Dennis Amakere. Mr. Amakere, M-O-N, is a security consultant. He joins us remotely. And in studio here, Dr. Tony Ofoyetan, DG, International Institute of Professional Security, in our Lagos studio with me here. Dennis, let me come to you because we're talking about this whole question of the political will. That Tony has said that it all goes back to this matter of the political will to do the needful. And we've been grappling with this concept for a while. George, calling in from Lagos, touched on it as well. So how do you understand the difficulty that this political will, so-called, to bring maximum resistance on rain it down on these ne'er-do-wells? What's the big problem there? What is the issue to your mind?
Thank you very much, Yori, for this question. It is very clear. In Africa, or let me put it in West Africa, the Nigerian military is one of the best. And they are very, very capable. The police itself, if well trained, can do wonders. When they travel outside the country, they do a lot. But when we are here trying to face this kind of situation, we are playing kid's glove with it. Remember the Kaduna State governor who said that these people should, after paying the bandits, and then of course they were not coming to an agreement, he now suggested that he's not going to pay again. And remember, the whole schools were closed down, and then he suggested that we should carpet bomb. We should carpet bomb the bandits. Yes, we can do that. But the point is that when the military goes ahead to do that, they are a formal and, formal military, and they cannot do that because there are international laws that are bounding them. Remember the Tucano jets that we wanted to buy before? And the issues surrounding it, we cannot carpet bomb people because the collateral damage is going to be high. Now, the political will of dealing with these particular bandits, why are we allowing them? Even President Buhari himself has said it, that these guys are not Nigerians. And if they are not Nigerians, why are we not sending them back? Why are we instead allowing some people to come and negotiate to see whether we can accommodate them in Nigeria while they are doing all this harm? And of course, this is not a religious issue because these guys are not just Islamic jihadists or whoever. They are terrorists and they are bandits who have been busy killing people, both Christians and Muslims and Northerners, and even going down south and doing whatever they like because we don't have the political will to drive them out of this country. And I think we need to get that. We need to gather that political will, and I think that will be the game changer for us.
Okay. Tony, since you were going to speak on this political will issue when a phone call came in, and truncated that a bit, although you did speak to it. Now, this political will, well, Tony just explained there, where does the political will issue come up? If it's religion, these people are not religionists. They have been, denied by, formalized Islamic institutions that these ones are not Muslims. These are bandits, these are criminals, these are terrorists. Then, as was pointed out, the former president has said that they're not even Nigerians. So where is this, you know, the ordinary man who doesn't know too much of international security and international diplomacy will say, are these not enemies? So why are we shy to hit the enemies?
Well, they are a combination of Nigerians and foreigners. We cannot say that they are all foreigners. Some of them are Nigerians.
Are those ones not enemies of the state?
Of course, they are enemies of the state. Like I said, the truth is that it will take Mr. President to decide to do the needful, irrespective of whose or is God. And that's just the only way out.
Does this go back to the sleeper cells thing you were talking about?
Yes, you see,
lest we go and be hitting some of our own compatriots.
You see, at the end of the day, terrorism is a well-organized, world violent group. You are talking of people that are, you know, the ISWAP, they are affiliated to the ISIS, the Ansaru affiliated to the Al-Qaeda, you know, and these two groups are right in this country. One predominantly in the northwest, one predominantly in the northeast. And they all operate within the terrain of the country called the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it's not as if the DSS don't have the full dossier. It's not as if NSA don't have the full dossier. But the only thing is, Mr. President, is he ready to give that, you know, wear that toga of Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and instruct the service chiefs and give them ultimatum? Now, the military, they are capable of causing the type of havoc that even Joe Biden will hear. And that is just the truth. But like the MON said, a lot of maybe consideration, international considerations and the like. But you can still weather all these considerations. Once Mr. President says, wipe away this set of people, give them the necessary equipment, they will wipe them away. Okay. But the only thing is also looking at it from the perspective of international infiltration into our country. Now you should be able to nexus it to those who are their foreign sponsors. We have domestic collaborators, the greedy Nigerians that are working with foreigners to cause crisis in this country. Now, look, that's just a truism. Well, if you go to Zamfara, the gold mine there, you understand what I'm talking about. You remember that recently the federal government had to revoke more than 900 mining licenses and the like, all because of some of these things. You know, if you go to Oyo State, you will see foreigners there. What is happening in Plateau State is struggle for natural resource of the country. At the end of the day, who are those that are fueling this crisis? Foreigners that deeply involved in fueling terrorism in this country. But it will take the audacity of Mr. President to say enough is enough, wipe away those that ought to be wiped away, imprison those that ought to be imprisoned, deport those that ought to be deported. As many embassies that are participants, criminals should be closed down.
Well,
it is going to take such hard decisions.
That's what a lot of Nigerians, especially innocent, you might even say naive ones, would expect that this is the most logical thing. But you also did manage to, indicate in there that these things are not as simple as all that.
Of course they are not.
They're very complex. Mazi Okoroafo, let me thank you for holding on all that while. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning again. Now, you see, all these groups we are talking about, whether it's the need or bring them or not bring them back. The question is this. You remember when Boris Johnson came to Nigeria, in this paper presentation, that was in Lagos, he said, whether any group will call them vanity, what they want to call, all of them are what? Terrorists. And terrorists, according to Nigerian Constitution, they have way they did that. There's no time to start quoting the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, logically. The government should treat them that way. But the question is that, if you check very well, statistics have shown, or record of the on-site have shown that most of these people, many of them are foreigners. Foreigners with few Nigerians. That's what I mean by few Nigerians. The indigenous, the son of the soil, poor Nigerians are a parcel of this thing. Now, tell me, how did those foreigners find their way into Nigeria? How did they come to settle that in Nigeria? How did they manage to know all these places, all these raw materials that are of high quality, of high quantity are there? It is people that we did that show them. You know, at that early stage, that is the thing. But my people are just talking about the number of nationalities. that when they recruit them, they are being paid 300,000 naira as salary a month. Now, you know what it means? For you to come in and follow somebody and enter bush and pay 300,000 naira. Why won't you join? These are the stories that was 10 years ago, 9 years ago. But the question is this now. These people have come to settle that they have capitalized all these raw materials, all these natural resources, and they are now balanced there, enjoying comfortably. And whereas the owners of the property are just living life kind of life, which is not healthy. The question or the answer is this. Government should treat them according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is the only solution. Everybody is talking about it. That is why Israel and Israel has this. People are complaining that the way Israel is doing what they are doing. Some are supporting Israel, some are against Israel, some are supporting Hamas, some are supporting them. You see, they are taking decisive action about their own because they don't want this thing to continue. That is why Israel is saying that they are going to level everything in that part of the world. That when they level it, they now sit down and now see before another one will migrate. At least those people will become, many of them have gone, and some of them have gone. That is it. But here is that we continue accommodation, creating problem for people who are indigenous of this, creating problem for farmers, creating problem for states, creating problem for community, there's no development of all those areas where this is. Do you know what's happening right now? Many children are afraid to go to school. Do you know that one? People should investigate. And many students are now going to this issue of this mining.
Yeah.
Leaving school to go and do mining was say there's cheap money there. I start asking them, where is cheap money there? Do you know how many the money will last? Okay. Even the money when you go and collect, you're not making sure you just take it and go and smoke and take with the soup and relax. That matter end. That's the type of life you want to live. Where they're telling you to go to school and acquire education. So that's government should follow constitution and treat those people. Good morning. Mazi Okafor from Arushi.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okafor. Just to remind that all of this is coming about because of the, shall we say, the resolve of the Kaduna State government, as stated at the recent forum, to ensure the uninterrupted education of its children, of its young people, amidst the knowledge that up to 200,000 less children actually enrolled. Going back to what Mazi has just said, that these people probably are going to other areas. And we've been speaking about what are the issues. And any way you look at it, this whole matter about, that's where we talked about the political will to do the needful and it not being as simple as many people might think. But it then becomes, how sustainable is this, our gentle, gingerly handling this problem because of the reasons that you gentlemen have stated, particularly Tony, that there are far and wide implications. But I don't know, it does look as if we, that is Nigeria, corporate we, are being pushed around and at a very, very high cost because our children are the people suffering. And so that's the whole idea behind Kaduna's mind, so to speak, as stated by Governor Uba Sani recently, speaking through his chief of staff, who was representing him at the event. So we have a big problem on our hands. And Tony, Dennis, there are other problems. This is not going to be cheap. I think you mentioned it. Schools have to be fenced. Task forces have to be equipped. Are you going to are you going to board them for increased security? Can we afford all of that? So many problems, but at least Kaduna is speaking up and saying that we acknowledge that we have a problem and we want to address it. It's just that I think what both you gentlemen have been saying all morning is, well, it's a very good and a laudable one, but there are challenges that you seem to have indicated you are fearful of their being met for this to be a success. Would that be right in that categorization, Dennis? You're fearful that...
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There is a fear that we will not be able to bring this project to a final end. I don't want it to hang in the air. when we start a project, we should be able to follow it properly and then execute it to a success. But like we earlier discussed, there are a lot of things to be done. There are a lot of things to be done.
And none of them easy. None of them easy.
It's not easy at all. Now you said 359 schools are going to be congregated. How many are we going to get? How many of them are going to be put in the different places? And
how well would that go down with their families?
Yes, and how are we going to secure them? Because are we going to now put the Safe School Initiative around those schools that they are going to bring together? Are you boarding them? Are you going to provide the manpower that will be well trained to resist any kind of aggression? And I will come back to the political will issue now. So what are we doing? Because you see, we cannot be running haphazardly. It has to be systematic, where we have to put these things in place and make sure that we are actually following it to the end. Because, like I said, we don't want political statements. When we make political statements and we don't follow up on it, just to placate people and leave it there up in the air, I don't think it's going to solve this problem for us.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Dennis. Mr. Dennis Amakre, MON, joined us this morning from the United States. Thank you very much, Tony, as always, for joining us and giving us the benefit of your insight on these matters. Tony, well, you said it all, as has been said. There's the desire, but feeding that desire ought to be the ability to achieve all those things that will be necessary for that desire to see the light of day. And I guess we have to give them credit for good intentions. The rest now, we have to wait and see, probably.
I wish the states the best of all, and I wish them success. But I can assure you that it's going to be more expensive. Because you are talking of having to warehouse the primary school for 6 years and the secondary for another 6 years. So an average child who is going to be for 12 years under the, the warehousing of the state government. I just pray and hope that they will have the finance to sustain it and not just get to a certain level and be stuck, and you now begin to pester the parents, and before you know what's happening, the essence of that is defeated. Go back to square one. So they should convince themselves that it is a policy they want to stand by all through. Alternatively, let them ask the military to give them teachers in each of those schools. Let the military teach, and at the same time, do security work. As simple as that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tony Ofoyetan, for coming on the program. It's been very clear, and I think the authorities are also listening, that it is doable, but do we have the commitment to achieve what we have outlined here? And, the governor, he said that security forces must hold regular meetings with elders, religious leaders, and representatives of youth and women. In other words, all must be on board so that we can achieve this. So once more, thank you very much, Tony.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Indeed, thank you. And our thanks also to Dennis Amakre, MON security consultant, who was also on the program.